Oh my God.
Is that not her?
Yeah.
Is that not her? Let me show you this.
Hold on, what man?
Whoa, the one she with.
Who with?
Yandy right now.
Puerto Rico's heat isn't just about the beaches or the blazing sun anymore. It's about the firestorm brewing inside the love and hip-hop world. Fans everywhere are buzzing with one shocking question. Are Yandy and Mendeecees even really? married, or has their entire love story been one big TV illusion? Picture this: luxury yachts, crystal blue waves, music blasting, and couples sipping champagne under the Caribbean sky. But behind all that glitter, a storm of scandal is rising. Eyewitnesses claim Yandy was spotted with a mystery man tall, chiseled abs for days. The sight alone sent fans spiraling. If she's truly married, then what does this mean? And if she's not legally married at all, has the world been fooled this entire time? And just when things couldn't get messier, Mama D entered the scene. With her crown polished and her voice sharper than ever, she didn't just bring commentary, she brought chaos. Mendeecees can't handle the truth, she declared, promising to dig up every hidden detail.
Oh my God.
Is that not her?
Yeah.
Is that not her? Let me show you this.
Hold on, what man?
Whoa, the one she with.
Who with?
Yandy right now.
Around because this scandal is only getting started. The Puerto Rico trip was supposed to be about relaxation.
Swear up that girl. He fine. He fine. My husband would be in trouble with this. If she posted that, I don't think it would be.
It is laughter, music, and champagne quickly turned into whispers. Raised eyebrows and a storm of speculation that refused to calm down. The spotlight, as always, landed straight on Yandy and Mendeecees. But this time, questions weren't about their future plans or their family. This time the question was far more shocking. Were they ever even really married in the first place? It all began when a few of the cast members started to notice something unusual. Yandy, dressed to perfection as always, was seen stepping onto a yacht that wasn't filled with her usual crew. Instead, cameras and phones caught her smiling, laughing, and leaning in close to a man no one recognized. He wasn't part of the show, he wasn't a friend they knew, and he certainly wasn't Mendeecees. His presence was magnetic tall, sculpted with a confidence that drew attention instantly. Some fans even joked online that he looked like he walked straight out of a fitness magazine, and when he appeared shirtless, the comments went wild at first. People thought it was just a casual moment. Maybe he was a promoter, maybe just a random friend. But as the day went on, the sightings became more frequent. Yandy and the mystery man weren't just standing near each other, they were together. They poured her drinks, they laughed over private jokes, and more than once. She touched his arm in a way that didn't look so casual. By evening, pictures were already circulating on blogs, and the captions were brutal. "Where's Mendeecees?" Yandy's mystery bae, caught on camera. The speculation spread like wildfire, and suddenly, no one cared about the parties anymore. The only thing people wanted to know was what was going on. Enter Mama D, the self-proclaimed queen of messy revelations. If there's one person who can turn a whisper into a headline, it's her. The moment she heard the rumors, she wasted no time stepping into the middle of the drama. Dressed like she owned the island, she gathered the ladies around and dropped her first bomb. According to her, she had already spoken to Mendeecees earlier that day, and he was alone. He didn't mention Yandy, didn't talk about her plans, and when she casually brought up the word wife, he didn't exactly confirm anything. In fact, he dodged the topic completely, which only added fuel to the fire. Fans watching online immediately latched onto this detail. If he isn't confirming Yandy as his wife, then what does that mean? The idea that their marriage might not be legally binding isn't new. Years ago, when they had their lavish wedding special, there were already whispers that the paperwork hadn't been filed. At the time, Yandy had openly admitted that she didn't sign certain documents. Because of financial complications tied to Mendeecees' legal issues, but over the years, most people assumed they had quietly made it official. Now, in Puerto Rico, those old rumors resurfaced with a vengeance. The tension grew even more when someone pulled out their phone and replayed Mama D's exact words. "Mendeecees can't handle the truth, but I'm gonna get it out of him." That line alone became the headline of the night. Comment sections exploded with fans divided. Some argued that Yandy had every right to live her life if they weren't legally married. Others said it didn't matter whether the paperwork was signed. The commitment was there, and she was crossing the line by being so close to another man. And then there were those who felt betrayed entirely, claiming they had supported Yandy and Mendeecees for years as one of the strongest couples in the franchise, only to find out the whole thing might have been a storyline. Inside the villa, the atmosphere was electric with gossip. People kept whispering, glancing at Yandy, waiting to see if she'd address it, but she played it cool. She laughed with her friends, posed for pictures, and refused to let the tension break her composure. Still, the more calm she appeared, the more suspicious everyone became. Was she unbothered because she knew the truth? Or was she hiding something? By nightfall, the situation reached a breaking point. At a dinner filled with candles, music, and a table long enough to fit the entire group, Mama D decided it was time to stop whispering and start asking questions directly. With her glass raised and a smirk on her face, she leaned across the table and said, "So Yandy, who exactly was that fine man on the yacht today? 'Cause baby, he did not look like your husband." The entire table fell silent, all eyes shifting to Yandy. She froze for a second, then smiled, brushing it off with a laugh. "Oh please," she said. "People always make more out of nothing." But Mama D wasn't letting go. Nothing. "Honey, he had a 12-pack. If that's nothing, then my eyesight needs checking." Everyone laughed nervously, but the tension didn't break. Yandy's denial felt too smooth to rehearsed. And that made people even more curious. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was spotted alone at another part of the resort. Eyewitnesses said he seemed distant, scrolling through his phone, avoiding the crowd. Some claimed he looked upset. Others said he looked like a man who already knew the storm was coming. No matter what the truth was, his silence spoke louder than words. The blogs took this silence and ran with it. Mendeecees avoids Yandy scandal. Husband quiet as rumors spread. The narrative was growing bigger than the trip itself. Even fans back home were joining in, digging up old clips, old interviews, and old confessions where Yandy admitted she hadn't signed their wedding papers. It was like the internet had suddenly remembered everything, and now the receipts were being posted everywhere. Back at the dinner table, the mood shifted again when one of the guys finally spoke up. "Look, marriage or not, if that was my woman on a yacht with another man, I'd have questions." His words cut through the laughter, and suddenly, no one was smiling anymore. The conversation had turned real. And in that moment, Yandy looked genuinely uncomfortable, as if the weight of all the eyes and all the questions was finally pressing down on her. The night ended without a real answer, but the damage was done. Whispers had turned into open conversations, and open conversations had turned into accusations. What was supposed to be a relaxing trip had transformed into a full-blown scandal. And at the center of it all was a single burning question. If Yandy and Mendeecees aren't legally married, then what does their relationship really stand on? The silence after that dinner conversation lingered in the air like a storm that refused to pass. Everyone had tried to laugh it off at first, but the truth was, the seed of doubt had already been planted. By the next morning, the entire villa was buzzing with conversations about only one thing: Yandy, Mendeecees, and the mystery surrounding their marriage. Phones were out, messages were being exchanged, and every small movement was magnified into a new piece of gossip. Some of the cast claimed they overheard Yandy talking in hushed tones on the phone late at night. Others swore that Mendeecees had confided in a friend that things weren't what they seemed. Every little rumor stacked on top of the last until it became impossible to separate fact from speculation. Mama D, of course, thrived in the chaos. With her larger-than-life personality, she positioned herself as the unofficial investigator of the group, walking around with her sunglasses on and a smirk that never faded. She spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I don't chase tea, baby. The tea chases me. And right now, it's running straight into my arms." Her confidence made the rest of the group laugh nervously, but deep down, no one doubted her. When Mama D said she was going to uncover something, Yandy paused. Her usual calm demeanor flickered for just a moment, revealing the frustration she had been holding back. "Why is everyone so pressed about my marriage?" She said, her voice steady but sharp. "Me and Mendeecees are together. We've been through more than anyone here can even imagine. Paperwork or not, that's my man, and I'm his woman." It was a powerful statement, but it didn't satisfy everyone. Some nodded in agreement, saying love didn't need legal validation. Others weren't convinced. But if the paperwork was never signed, another voice chimed in, then technically, you can't call yourself his wife. It's about more than love, it's about being official. The poolside debate spiraled from there. One by one, people chimed in, turning what was supposed to be a peaceful afternoon into a courtroom-style argument. Emotions ran high as loyalty lines were drawn. Some defended Yandy fiercely, while others pushed for clarity. The conversation ended when Yandy, visibly irritated, stood up and walked away, leaving her drink unfinished on the table. Behind the scenes, Mendeecees was finally starting to feel the pressure. He had been quiet for most of the trip, but the whispers had reached his ears. Late that evening, while standing near the balcony overlooking the ocean, he confided in one of the guys. "People don't understand how complicated it was," he said. "When I was dealing with my legal situation, Yandy didn't want to sign the papers because she didn't want to be held responsible for my debts. I understood it then, but we never went back and fixed it. And now, it's all blowing up like this." That confession was enough to light another fire. Within hours, his words had made their way back to the group. Suddenly, everyone had a new angle to dissect. If Mendeecees himself admitted they never fixed the paperwork, then what did that mean about the marriage they'd celebrated on national television? Fans watching the footage later felt blindsided, saying they had invested in a love story that might have been half true at best. The situation only grew more explosive when someone pulled out an old clip from years ago, during a reunion special where Yandy herself had said, "I didn't sign the paperwork." Back then, she had brushed it off with a smile, claiming she did it to protect her family from unnecessary problems. But now, in the context of Puerto Rico, that old clip resurfaced like a ghost haunting her. The next day, the group found themselves at a beach party. Bright lights, music, and dancing should have set the tone for fun, but instead, everyone was bracing for the inevitable confrontation. And it came sooner than expected. Mama D, never one to hold back, walked straight up to Mendeecees and asked the question that had been hanging over everyone's heads. "So tell me, baby, are you married to Yandy or not?" The music seemed to fade in that moment. All eyes locked on him. For a split second, he looked caught off guard, but then he straightened his shoulders and gave a careful answer. "Me and Yandy are together, we love each other, and we've built a life together. Married or not, that's what matters." It was a diplomatic response, but not the confirmation anyone was looking for. If anything, it made the tension worse. People began whispering again, dissecting every word, every pause, every look. Fans online immediately clipped that line and replayed it over and over, questioning why he avoided giving a simple yes or no. Yandy, standing a few feet away, heard the entire exchange. Her face tightened and she walked off toward the water, clearly upset. Cameras followed her as she muttered under her breath, "I can't keep doing this. I can't keep defending something that people are determined to tear apart." Her vulnerability in that moment shifted the mood slightly. Some of the women followed her, offering comfort, reminding her that relationships are complicated and no one on the outside can truly understand. But even in their support, the underlying question remained unanswered. And unanswered questions always fuel more drama by the time the night ended. The Puerto Rico trip had completely changed direction. What was once about music and celebration was now a scandal unraveling in real time. Trust was fractured, lines were drawn. And the truth about Yandy and Mendeecees. Marriage status was more confusing than ever. The drama wasn't just contained to the group anymore either. Word had reached social media, and fans were split into camps. Some defended Yandy fiercely, praising her loyalty through Mendeecees' prison sentence and legal battles. Others accused her of playing with the audience's emotions, selling a dream that wasn't grounded in reality. The phrase fake marriage began trending, and the Puerto Rico trip turned into the hottest topic of the season. But for Yandy and Mendeecees, the storm wasn't over. The more the group pressed, the more their personal lives unraveled under the spotlight. And as the cameras kept rolling, it was clear that this was only the beginning of a scandal that no one saw coming. The whispers in Puerto Rico were only getting louder. And while Yandy tried to keep her usual composure, even she couldn't escape the tension that had wrapped itself around the entire group. The dinner table scene from the night before replayed in everyone's mind. The awkward silences, the pointed looks, and Mama D's fiery challenge still hanging in the air. Fans watching online were quick to flood the comment sections with their own theories. Some saying Yandy was clearly hiding something, while others insisted Mendeecees was the one being shady. But inside the villa, the drama was heating up in real time and no one seemed able to diffuse it. Mendeecees walked out to the poolside early in the morning, pacing back and forth with his phone in his hand. It looked like he wanted to call someone but kept hesitating. Finally, he muttered, "Man, they don't know what we've been through. They don't know the truth." His voice was low, almost to himself, but Mama D, who happened to be nearby, caught enough of it to smirk knowingly. "So you admit there's a truth you haven't shared?" she snapped, stepping closer. Mendeecees tensed, clearly annoyed that she had overheard him. But Mama D wasn't one to back down. "The problem with lies," she continued, "is they always find their way out. And I promise you, I'll be the one to drag them out if I have to." Yandy emerged from the villa just in time to catch the tail end of their exchange. "D, please," she sighed. "Can you stop trying to create something that's not there? Our marriage is real. It's solid." But her tone wavered just slightly, and Mama D caught it instantly. "Baby, that voice shake, don't lie," D shot back. "Solid. Sounds like sand to me." Yandy's eyes flicked to Mendeecees, silently urging him to step in, to finally defend their relationship publicly. But he just rubbed the back of his neck and muttered, "Man, I'm not about to sit here and argue with you. People gonna believe what they want." That one sentence set off a storm. If he wasn't defending it outright, fans and cast members alike started to wonder if maybe he was quietly confirming the speculation. Erica, who had been staying relatively quiet during all the drama, finally chimed in. "Look, I don't want to stick my nose in your business, but if y'all really married, why is it so hard to just say it with your chest? Why the hesitation?" The group around the pool fell silent, waiting for an answer, but again, Mendeecees dodged. "We don't owe nobody no explanations," he said firmly, so his voice betrayed an edge of frustration. Meanwhile, Scrappy leaned over to Kirk, whispering just loud enough for the cameras to catch it. "Bro, this is wild. If they ain't even married for real, then what all this time been about? That's a whole storyline, Cap." Kirk nodded, his expression caught between curiosity and disbelief. "And think about it," Kirk added. "If it's not legal, then technically she's free to do whatever she wants, right? Ain't no vows binding her." As the whispers and side conversations grew, Yandy finally snapped. Her eyes filled with tears as she stood up and faced the entire group. "You know what? I'm tired of this. I gave up so much, stood by this man through prison, through the hardest years of our lives, and now y'all want to sit here and question my love, my loyalty. Do you think I would have sacrificed all that for a fake marriage?" Her voice cracked, the emotion raw and real. But before the moment could turn sympathetic, Mama D clapped back with her signature dramatic flair. "Baby girl, loyalty don't equal legality. You might have given your heart, but did you ever get that paper? Did you ever sign that line?" The bluntness of her words hit hard. and the group collectively gasped. Mendeecees finally exploded, slamming his hand on the table beside him. Enough. I don't have to prove nothing to none of y'all. Me and Yandy know what we got, and that's all that matters. His outburst was powerful, but it didn't answer the burning question, and everyone knew it later that evening. As the cast gathered for another group event, rumors had already started swirling online. Bloggers and fan pages were dissecting every clip, every pause, every tear. Some fans defended Yandy fiercely, saying she had every right to keep her personal business private. Others claimed the hesitation, but Mama D wasn't finished. She told a few of the others, "I'm not buying what they're selling. I've got receipts waiting, and if they keep playing, I'll show the world what's really going on." The threat hung heavy, and even those who had been hesitant to believe her earlier now started to lean in. Curious about what she might have done, as the night ended, the group split into factions. Some sided with Yandy, insisting her love story was too deep to be fake. Others were more skeptical, wondering if years of television romance had been built on shaky ground. And in the middle of it all, Mendeecees stayed quiet, his silence raising even more questions than his words ever could. The tension had officially hit a breaking point, and Puerto Rico's trip had turned from a getaway into a stage for one of the most explosive scandals the franchise had ever seen. The following morning in Puerto Rico, the villa was buzzing with tension. The events of the previous days had left everyone on edge, and the questions surrounding Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage status were far from resolved. Conversations that should have been lighthearted were now weighed down with whispers and sideways glances. The moment Yandy stepped outside, cameras immediately followed her, capturing the subtle anxiety in her movements. Even with her sunglasses shielding her eyes, it was clear she hadn't slept well. Her usual confidence was slightly cracked, a fact that fans and cast members alike were quick to notice. The breakfast area, usually a scene of laughter and casual chatter, turned into an arena for speculation. Mama D, never one to let an opportunity pass, seized the moment. She strolled in like she owned the place, her presence commanding attention. "Good morning, everyone," she began, her voice smooth but loaded with intent. "Looks like last night left some unresolved issues. So let's talk about them, shall we?" The room went quiet, the tension thick enough to be felt in every corner. Yandy Y tried to maintain composure. "D, please, can we not make this into something it's not?" she asked, her voice calm but tight. The way she looked around the table suggested she was mentally preparing herself for another round of public scrutiny. But Mama D wasn't deterred. "Baby girl, when there's smoke, there's usually fire," she said, leaning in. "And trust me, the smoke from your yacht pictures is burning everything up." Scrappy, trying to lighten the mood, chuckled nervously. "Man, why everything gotta be drama? We on vacation?" But his attempt at humor fell flat. Everyone knew the issue wasn't just speculation anymore. It was dominating every conversation, every glance, every interaction. Mendeecees, who had been sitting quietly, finally spoke, his voice low but firm. "Look, people don't understand the full picture. When I went away, there were legal complications. Yandy made the choice not to sign papers back then to protect herself. That's it, nothing more." The room fell silent. His words carried weight, but instead of calming the situation, they added a new layer to the speculation. Erica, always direct, spoke up. "So, wait. Are you saying you guys were never legally married all these years?" Her question hung in the air like a dagger. The group collectively turned to Yandy, their eyes demanding an answer. Yandy's lips pressed tightly together, her hands shaking slightly. She looked around at the group and said, "I didn't sign the papers then, but that doesn't mean we weren't committed. We built a life, a family. That's what matters." The tension spiked. Some cast members nodded, supportive of her sentiment, but others were skeptical. "Commitment is great," Sierra said cautiously, "but legally speaking, you can't just call yourself married. Paperwork matters." The comment, though mild, was enough to ignite another wave of whispers. Fans watching clips later were quick to debate the implications online. Some argued that love is bigger than legality, while others insisted that a valid marriage is foundational, especially for a public couple. Mama D, sensing the opportunity, leaned back with a grin. See, baby girl, this is why you gotta be careful. Love and paperwork are two different things. And when the cameras roll, everyone notices the difference. Her words cut sharply, prompting a murmur from the rest of the cast later in the afternoon. The group moved to the beach for a photo shoot, but the tension didn't leave them. Photographers tried to capture smiles and candid moments. But the camera caught the subtle exchanges. Yandy glancing at Mendeecees, him frowning, and Mama D following her every step with a knowing smirk. Scrappy and Kirk whispered side comments, speculating whether the mystery man from the yacht was relevant to the current unease. The conversation was hushed, yet the energy it generated was palpable. By evening, private moment between Yandy and Mendeecees intensified the speculation. They walked along the shoreline, voices low but loaded with emotion. I can't keep explaining myself every time someone asks, Yandy said, her tone strained. I gave my all to us, and now it feels like everyone's judging me instead of understanding me. Mendeecees nodded, silent for a moment, then replied, I know, but the past choices, the paperwork hit, keeps haunting us. They want clarity, and whether we like it or not, we have to deal with it. The exchange, though private, was overheard by one of the cast members, who later recounted it with dramatic flair. As night fell, the villa hosted a group dinner. Candles flickered, music played softly, but the atmosphere was anything but romantic. Conversations revolved around the morning's revelations. Fans online dissected every clip of the night, noting Yandy's tears, Mendeecees' silence, and Mama D's piercing gaze. The tension is unbearable, one fan commented. You can literally see the cracks forming. Erica tried to mediate, saying, look, at the end of the day, relationships are messy. Everyone's got their history. We can't judge what we don't fully understand. Some nodded in agreement, but Mama D wasn't convinced. Messy doesn't even start to describe this. The truth isn't Messyites explosive. And this baby is about to blow. Yandy, drained from the emotional day, retreated to her room after dinner. Sierra and Erica followed, offering comfort and support. Girl, ignore them, Sierra said softly. At the end of the day, you know your truth. And that's what matters. Yandy wiped her tears, but her gaze was distant, weighed down by the continuous scrutiny. Meanwhile, Mama D lingered outside, speaking to the cameras. They think this is over, but trust me. The truth is only getting louder. People want clarity. Fans want drama. And I'm just here to deliver it. Nothing escapes me. Her words hinted that the coming days would bring even more revelations. And with every passing moment, the Puerto Rico trip became a ticking time bomb of emotions, accusations, and explosive confrontations. By the end of the night, the villa was divided. Some cast members were loyal to Yandy, defending her choices and commitment. Others were skeptical, speculating that the lack of legal marriage created a loophole for possible betrayal. Social media had caught every moment, magnifying the drama. Clips circulated, highlighting pauses, gestures. Later that afternoon, the group moved to the pool for a casual photo shoot, but the tension remained. Cameras captured every small gesture, every sidelong glance. Yandy stayed close to Mendeecees, her hand brushing his, a subtle display of unity. But even that small gesture was dissected by everyone present. Mama D, never missing an opportunity, whispered loudly enough for the cameras to catch. Look at that baby girl holding hands like that proves nothing. I need the real truth. The gossip escalated further when one of the cast members brought up the mysterious man from the yacht. So are we just going to ignore the guy from the other day? She asked, eyebrows raised. Everyone froze for a moment and Yandy's face tightened. She replied carefully, that's just a friend, nothing more. People love to twist things they don't understand. The explanation was simple, but Mama D wasn't convinced. Friend or not, baby, the timing is sus, she said, her smirk growing wider. The public wants to know, and I'm not letting it slide. As the sun began to set, the villa prepared for one last group dinner before the trip ended. Candles flickered, music played softly, but the tension was palpable. Every conversation, every laugh, every glance was tinged with caution. Yandy and Mendeecees sat side by side showing solidarity, yet the weight of unresolved questions hung over them. At dinner, one of the cast members finally confronted them directly. Look, we all love you both, but we need to be honest. Legally, married or not, people are talking. The mystery, the secret side's causing a divide, and the fans are losing trust. How do you respond to that? The room went silent, the question echoing louder than the background music. Yandy took a deep breath, her voice firm. I understand the concerns, and I can't control what people say online. The truth is, our bond is real. Paperwork or not, we've been through the hardest times together, and nothing can change that. I hope that's enough for the people.